In the next 10 minutes, you'll be able to recreate Lonely by Justin Bieber.
Everybody knows my name now, but something about it still feels strange.
I'm YECKXO, and in a new series of videos, I'm going to decode chart-topping songs by recreating them. You can access the project files via the link in the description. We also have a giveaway for 3 persons. The giveaways are 1 Rhodes V8 Pro plugin, 1 Rhodes V Rack, and 1 Rhodes V Pen. Just comment this emoji and I'll pick 3 winners randomly. Stay with me. We all utilize the same tools, plugins, and instruments, but why do only some people produce chart-topping songs? What are the differences between crafted songs and simply produced songs with 0 details? This has been my question since 2017, as you can see in my Instagram post's description. There are 2 main reasons for choosing that song. First, this song has only 1 instrument, and because of that, the producer should have applied different techniques to keep the listeners engaged. The other reason is that Benny Blanco was the producer of this track. Since he's a big hitmaker, deconstructing his works can definitely be beneficial. To recreate any song, first we have to detect the tempo and key of the track. In Logic Pro X, I simply use automatic tempo detection with the command Alt-T shortcut. I select use average tempo to find it more accurately. So it's 80. You can detect the tempo of the track easily by visiting EASEUS Vocal Remover and uploading any track. After a few seconds, you'll get that. After finding the tempo, I shift the track to where the starting of verse 1 would be on the 5th bar.
Everybody knows my name.
It's kind of my personal preference, as many hit songs with short intros usually start at the 5th bar. Also, since I need reference vocals to recreate its background music, I simply go to this section and paste Justin Bieber's song YouTube link to extract the vocals. I download and import the extracted vocals and instrumentals to the project and sync them with the main track.
Everybody knows my name now, but something about it still feels strange.
Now I want to separate each section, like the verse, chorus, and pre-chorus, if the song has any of them. Since repetition is key in hit songs, it can save time. Also, when you work on different sections individually, you'll get a better perspective on what you have to do. So this is the intro, I cut it. This is the verse, I cut it. The point in hit songs is that usually, every 4 or 8 bars, something happens. It might be a whole new section, a new melody introduced, or a new sound. So if I set my range to 4 bars, I expect that something is going to happen next. I open a new line and create a new MIDI region. I just want to label each section using that. I right-click and choose Create MIDI Region. I move it and extend its length to 4 bars. Let's rename it to Intro. Then I copy-paste it. I copy and paste it again and listen to the track to see what's going to happen.
Everybody knows my name. Nobody else. And everything is now. What if you...
Okay, as you've just heard, after 8 bars, the song falls into the pre-chorus part, as we expected. So I keep labeling sections like this. I load an instance of Rhodes V8 Pro. The V8 is a deeply multi-sampled and modeled, hyper-realistic version of the Rhodes MK8, capturing all the nuance and character of the flagship electric piano. It's the only official software to carry the Rhodes name. You can find the download link in the description. I add a little bit of volume and drive. I just set the Varipan parameters to this. We let it remain turned off for now, but we'll get back to it later on. In the details section, I add a little boost in the low end and use this amp to beef up the sound. Here's what we got. Then, simply load any tremolo effect and set the rate to a quarter note with some depth. Now that we have the sound ready, let's jump into the next section. I begin with the intro part and play it. After some editing, including pedals and velocities, I'm going to visually compare it with the original track's waveform. The reason is that the original track has a certain groove, which, by checking it visually, I can adjust the notes to match that groove. So now when you see the waveform in your MIDI notes with the original song's waveform, you see that they're perfectly aligned. You might wonder why this is important. Groove refers to the rhythmic feel or pattern that makes a piece of music feel good and makes you want to move or dance. It's not limited to drums and bass, but each instrument individually has a certain groove. Since the instrument player can't perfectly play the particular instruments on the grid, some of the notes fall before or after the specific beat. Now let's jump into the verse.
Everybody like looking in a mirror, trying to steady yourself and seeing somebody else.
At first sight, we may think that the verse's E-piano melody and pattern seem similar to the intro, but no, here's the point. There's a slight change in the melody that is playing. One note is deleted here, and one note is added here. The reason that this note is removed is to avoid standing in the way of vocals. And here, while the last note remains the same, a little extra note is just added before. Remember, in simple singer-songwriter songs with few instruments, the key is to add different variations to keep the momentum of the track with just subtle changes. So next time you're trying to copy the exact 4-bar loop from any section to any other section, consider any changes it might need. By the way, you may not always need the changes. In the original song, you'll hear the E-piano so dynamically. In the bar 4, you'll hear that it sounds lower and softer compared to the previous bars. So I adjust the velocities here, then I copy it to the pre-chorus. There's one little change before we hit the pre-chorus is that this melody at the end of the 4th bar changes also. He played more intensely to prepare you to fall into the pre-chorus section. Now I want to check the cadences of each section separately in a row to feel the changes. Exactly before the chorus, that melody is just removed to create a sense of missing something, so it pushes you into the next part. You see that these little variations can take your track to the next level. Now in the chorus part, we needed something special, so he has done it by going 1 octave higher and also introducing a G major 7 chord, which he hasn't used before in this track.
I'm so lonely.
Also, he played the E piano chords with a flam technique, which means all the notes won't play at the same time, and there's a slight time difference between each note. Additionally, before the chorus begins, that melody which played at the end of the 4th bar was gone.
It's just fucking lonely. I'm so low.
You expected to hear that, right? There's another change that we only hear in the chorus. It's the tremolo effect, which has been set to the tempo. You can simply make that effect using this knob on Rhodes V8, or if you used any other VST, just simply set it to a quarter note and turn it on. Since the tremolo effect is only used in the chorus, I automated it, so in other sections, it's bypassed. All these variations are enough for creating pleasant contrast between sections and make the chorus sound more exclusive. Let's jump into verse 2. Before verse 2 begins, we hear that there's a new melody at the end of the chorus introduced which you haven't heard in other sections. It can be a sign of progression in verse 2 also. It prepares you for the verse 2 as it begins with different notes. The melody and the pattern of E piano are different here. That melody at the end of the phrase is gone. Also, the E piano played more intensely. So I tweaked the velocities. Again, in the second cycle of verse 2, that extra melody at the end of the phrase appeared. The second pre-chorus seems to be a copy of the previous one. So let's move to the last chorus. The first cycle of the last chorus sounds pretty much like the first chorus, but there's a little melody variation in the middle of it. We move forward to the second cycle of the last chorus. Here, the piano pattern just doubled, and the phrase finishes with that little melody. There's a pad in the last chorus, which only appears at the beginning of it.
What if you had?
I hear two different sounds layered. I loaded Diva with the displayed settings, which is a simple pad. I added reverb and a high-cut filter and played the higher note with that.
Idiot kid. What if you had it all, but nobody?
After that, I duplicated the Diva, and I played that note in a lower octave.
Idiot kid. Idiot kid. What if you had? Idiot kid.
So now, here are some advanced tips that can enhance the contrasts in different sections. First, I make the E piano's stereo field narrower in verse 1 and 2 using a stereo imager. And in the chorus, I try different effects on E piano such as phaser or chorus or tremolo with subtle effects. Tweaking, automating these effects during the song makes a significant difference and helps you achieve more pleasant and professional results. The next thing I want to mention is the importance of dehumanizing and not putting everything on the grid. For example, here, first I play the 100% quantized version and then the humanized. As you hear, it makes a huge difference, especially in a simple song like this.
Things I did as an idiot kid.